Okay, well, I'm going to show a little video here of how I do the Perma Chink log chinking. I'm sure it's close to the same procedure if you're using the log jam or the Sashko products, but I like this Perma Chink, and I've done the whole exterior of this house, and I'm on to my last two strips here, and then some little touch-ups on some of these cracks with some different color, more of a dark stained. But I ran out of the big pail. I was bulk filling with the big pails. Now I'm onto these big quart tubes, and the tools you need. I like this little brush. It's a little chip brush that I cut down. For me, this works best. You can get in narrow cracks and smooth it this way. You can get in bigger cracks and smooth it this way. I clean it off after each pass or two with the spray bottle, which is very necessary. My dog chewed off the trigger, but it still works. And a couple of little smoothing knives and a stapler. If you want to get in and get that chinking back, you want to leave that chinking back in there at least so you can get a 1/4 inch on the edges of the chinking, and then you want it to be about 1/8 of an inch in the middle. And these logs are so old, I don't think they're going to shrink or expand much. They've been here for quite a few years. So anyway, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to lay in a bead. So what I usually do is do the top bead first, and I squirt one in that crack. So you can see here I'm squirting it in, nice thick. It is real sticky. You don't have to press it real hard into the joint. You just kind of flow it in there, and it sticks on its own because it's got a lot of adhesion to it, and it's quite plastic and malleable and workable. Anyway, you lay in a bead like that along the top. And then take the pressure off the gun, or it's going to keep oozing out. And rotate the nozzle a little bit. I'm going to come back on the bottom section now. The bottom of the chink groove here, the joint. Laying one in there. It's painstaking work. It'll make you dizzy. You got to remember to breathe, because that's what I do. I don't breathe sometimes when I'm concentrating in here and laying this stuff in, and I'm like, holy crap. And a little bit in the middle. When you come with your knife, this will kind of push together and thin out in the middle, but I like to use plenty of it, I guess. Maybe a little more than you're supposed to, but okay, there's a pass done. Now, you want to get your knives out, and you get a water bottle, and you got to spray this down so that your knives slip on it and don't tear it up. You spray your knives. I'm just going to use the small knife on this crack, so you lay it in there, and you kind of push it up on the top bead first. The top, kind of make sure that it pushes up in tight and adheres well up in there. See, I got that top bead done. Now I'm going to go back and do the bottom bead. And my tool's pretty good. I'm going to give a little more water. Go back and do the bottom bead on the bottom of the log crack here. Push it in good where it gets into any cracks or holes, so it fills in there good. And then I got a ridge down the middle, so I'm going to lay that flat now. I go back into the old, which is not that old. I just did it 10 minutes ago. So, and then I'm going to smooth this bead down in the top here, because that brush just gives it the rough cement-like finish. It kind of pulls up the smaller chunks onto the surface so it looks more cement-like. There. Okay, so now I'm ready. I'm gonna wipe this off, spray this off, wipe it. The other essential thing you need is a roll of paper towels. Now my dog chewed in the paper towels. He chewed the trigger off my gun, still works. Dang dog. Okay, now I'm gonna texturize it with the brush. So I'm gonna give another shot of light misting. I'm gonna mist this up so that this doesn't want to stick. And 1 or 2 passes now in here should be good. This is some old chink that's still on the log, so I'm gonna have to brush that off with, or cut it off with a pocket knife or something and scrape it off and restain that little spot, because that's in there, that's dried. But I'm gonna go back and touch this up now. So you lay her in there carefully. Want to smooth out that ridge down the middle. And that's good enough for me. I'm going to come back on the bottom. Voila! Pretty much done. Now I got a little bit of touch up here to do. So I'm going to take my paper towel, and what I like to do is I like to take a small sheet and fold it over a couple times so you get a little bit of a edge here. I'm just going to lay that edge in there and pull it off the log and get to a new piece of paper towel and do another little inch. You shouldn't have too much cleanup to do if you do it right. After you get the hang of it. It takes a while to get the hang of it, but I'm kind of a perfectionist, I guess. I like to do a good job. And a couple more little bloobs over here, not too bad, but it gets a little milky and some of that milk comes down. And so there, I did a chink, and I'm ready for the next section here. Make sure my chinking is, or my under chinking, my backer rod and is up in, gripper strip is up in there where it's supposed to be, so you get a good 1/4 inch seal on the top and the bottom, and that's about it. Thanks.